Hey everybody, it's me again, off the chain, your friend Kevin. I've been sitting here fiddling and faffing around with this camera setup. I believe I've got a little bit of what they call that, OCD, don't know. Anyway, I was looking at myself in the image that you're seeing, and I'm thinking, well, this doesn't look quite straight. It looks like the images on the wall behind me are sort of like cocked up, and then of course I'm looking at the reflections of the light in the beautiful Jennifer Hawkyard images behind me. I'm thinking, oh, it's getting a little obsessive. Anyway, I'm going to stop that because it was getting a little crazy. All right, so what do I want to talk about today? Well, I started reading a new book. I'm doing my shopping in Target, and I came across this book cover by Jay Shetty. I don't follow a lot of what he posts, but I have popped into some of his really upbeat, inspirational things he puts up on social media, and it always fills me with joy, with motivation, with inspiration, with something. He's always got something of a nugget for growth that I can find to motivate me. And then I realized, well, that's kind of me. Well, the title of the book is Think Like a Monk. So I thought there was something, sometimes when you go by things, you get a stirring within you, that spirit talking and saying, ding, 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 go down this aisle, pick this up. Abraham Hicks talks about it through Esther, saying that I think she told a story, her and her husband, her late husband, Jerry, were going through the grocery store, and they just decided to let Abraham, the spirit of Abraham that works through them, pick everything they needed for dinner. Or something like that. I remember there was a story that was quite bizarre. They really themselves were void of the energy that was working through them, choosing what they needed and choosing what they do and getting what they wanted and purchasing what they purchased and taking it all home and then making a meal with it. I think it was just in this mode of autonomy. The autonomy meaning the bigger part of who we are, the bigger part of what we are, the bigger part of what we came here to do, the bigger part of who we came here to be, which is usually ourselves. Anyway, so I used my little ding ding, my little angel message, as a way of saying, I've got to dig deeper into this Think Like a Monk. Now, there was a part of me that almost picked up this book. There was a 30% off sticker. I get a little bit more off with my Target card. So there's no reason why I could not pick up this gem. And really, it doesn't matter. I think offers and discounts and stickers of that nature is a thing that we've all become accustomed to. We've all become somewhat programmed that if it doesn't have money off, if it doesn't have a deep discount, if it's not basically close to being free, it's not worth it. Well, I have to say, no, anything is not actually free. There is an energy exchange involved in everything we do, in everything that we touch, in everything that we contract with another person to get, whether it's service, goods, what have you. Nothing is or should be free of charge of some sort of energetic exchange. However, that has created this discrepancy, if you will, where people do not feel equal. Anyway, I'm digressing. There's a reason I'm telling you all this. So I go home and I pondered. The next morning, which I think was Sunday, I believed I was going to pop out and get this book. In the parking lot, as I'm sitting at opening day or opening time to go get this book, it suddenly occurred to me, I'm going to download it as an audio book and listen to it on the way to work, at home, in the evening, and let my mind drift off into what he's saying. I like the way Jay Shetty narrates his books. He talks. I like his audio-visual presentations. He's very charismatic. His voice is very charismatic. It's lovely to listen to. So this was my premise for getting the audiobook, and indeed I downloaded it. Then I thought to myself, I've got to be able to use this. Now, the premise of the book, which I believe you should pick up and read, is his experience when he decided to step away from day-to-day life and living. I don't quite know what. I think he was in London, and join an ashram and become a monk, literally become a monk. And I remembered thinking to myself, well, that's in a way what I did in February of 2015. I trotted off to Sedona, Arizona, a beautiful part of the world, and took a 1 week long boot camp with Mr. Baron Baptiste, who himself has written a great many books and shared his own journey about being somewhat of a troubled teenager. He shared in this particular boot camp stories of himself where he was into drugs, into gangs, hooked up with all kinds of troublesome people. One of his best friends died as he was holding him. And later on, he decided that, it was probably about time he took a more spiritual path, and did so. So I think we've all had our, as I call it, dark night of the soul, where we've all come to our knees and said, whether you call it God, Buddha, Yahweh, Melchizedek, Allah, any of those, Kuan Yin, Master Jesus, Mother Mary, any of those deities or gods or goddesses, we've all had the dark night of the soul, where we believe in our infinite wisdom that something's going to shift and we need help. We need spiritual guidance. We ask for it. Sometimes we beg for it. We plead for it. And it is, in my opinion, always given, always presented, always laid out. Now, very few of us, I am one, and I know others, actually give truly humble thanks for when that happens, for when the dark night of the soul passes and the sunshine in the heart and the sunshine in the solar plexus and the sunshine in our lives has been restored, where we realize it really wasn't that dark after all. It was just our perception of the situation at the time that presented itself a series of events that we had a reaction to, a response to, and went into this place where we felt like we needed the God. There's a prayer or a picture or an image that comes to my mind right now of footprints, where there are footprints in the sand and there's only one person. Lots and lots of little reminders as we go through this journey that we're in, physical, of the non-physical, that we probably gloss over, don't paying attention to, which leads me to what I'm going to talk about today. So I did download the audiobook, and one of the three things for sustaining a meaningful life, according to Jay Shetty, is at the end of the day to reflect upon how you feel about the day, the events of the day, in a way, a journal. Now, it can be whatever you want it to be, it's your choice, but just basically sitting and reflecting on, right now I feel, write the feeling, and write how the day unfolded, whether it's gratitude or joy, anger, resentment, hopelessness or hope, faith or non-belief, any of those things, just write them down. So I decided this is a good idea for me. Then I decided to go a bit further with it, and at the beginning of the day take another journal and write my hopes and my dreams for what is going to happen for the day. So here is the journal that I got for the reflections, which I'll do tonight. And then, of course, it is part of a journal I've already written in, angel readings and all kinds of things, general angel cards, notes I've written from various different podcasts I've listened to and taken. one that was the supermoon that I did with Freya. And then, so anyway, the little notes I want to read to you before I turn the page and said, daily reflections at the end of each day I feel, fill in the blank, and then care about how I feel. You should care about how you feel. Really. Feeling is really what drives everything that we do. But before I go up I wrote down that my daily spiritual practice is an opportunity for me to commit to myself in a way that nobody else has been able to. I show up in a way that I have not ever shown up before. And I uncover the angels that are inside the shadows, that are sitting in the wings, waiting to come and help. A daily spiritual practice is a commitment to who we are in a way that others have not been. And I do these daily spiritual practices, of which this is part of it, a daily spiritual practice, to unearth it. So then I'm thinking, well, today, being the 25th of January, I should start another journal. And I found this book, which I got long time ago when I was joining a writing club. And I've sort of thought to myself, well, I could write a book, I should write a book. I did write a book. Getting it published is a whole nother story. So I got this journal to write things in it, and oddly enough, there's nothing written in it. It's all blank, it's all empty. So I thought, well, it's about time something should be written in it. And indeed, I started thinking, well, what should I put in this daily journal? What should I start it off with? So I put my 2 prayers. Thank you, our guardian angels, for being with me in all ways, in all things, in all directions of time and space today. Thank you for your unlimited assistance in all that I accomplished today, your help and your presence. I so appreciate. It is and forever will be. So I'm going to glue that, which is this little thing I wrote on an index card. Oddly enough, what I've discovered since I've been on lockdown, my penmanship has gotten a little bit neater. I feel like, one of my little teachers up in the spirit world is saying, yes, very good. You're writing within the lines. So then the other little prayer thing I've got is thanking God and the angels for showing me how to sustain a living, to live a life of service for other people while serving my joy, my appreciation, my income, and showing me how all this is possible. So I shall glue that prayer again into this book. But then it's a daily journal of hope. That's what this is, a daily journal of hope. So I turn the page and I've basically started it with peace, love and understanding. January 25th, 2022. What's so funny about peace, love and understanding? It's a song that was written and performed by Elvis Costello and the Pretenders. I think that's who that was, or Protectors, something like that. It was not re-released, but it was performed by Bruce Springsteen, Nick Lowe, and a host of other, Sheryl Crow, a host of other people several years ago in a concert. I believe it was like a vote for change. I'm not going to go down that road. The spirits are saying, let's not go down there. Okay. So this is the energy I'm choosing to adopt for today, and to learn more about peace, love and understanding. And what came to mind was everybody's looking for peace. We all want it. We all want this peace. We all want this joy. We all want this kumbaya. We all want peace. So there's a lack of it. Everybody wants love. Really, truly, they want to be love. Apps have made a fortune out of love. Online dating services are filled with people who week after week, month after month, day after day, moment after moment, keep swiping to find that person. And when they get this match, woo, ding-a-ling-a-ling, you've got this match. That's love. But love is really within ourselves. We've got to figure out the way we don't love ourselves. Who told us we're not worthy of it? Who told us we shouldn't have it? Who told us we weren't good enough for it? Who told us these lies that we've then told ourselves? And then understanding. This was a tough one. Understanding. Understanding for me is steeped into forgiveness. It's steeped into understanding some of the things I do. It's steeped into what do I say. It's steeped into how do I say it. It's steeped into how any of those things. The understanding of the why is as important as the understanding of the how. Buddhist monks are taught that they choose their words wisely, and the words they choose to speak are spoken with purpose. It is void of many Western cultures to slow down what we say, to choose the words we say with impeccable purpose. There's a lovely book, The Four Agreements. Later, several years later, the fifth agreement arrived, which sort of sums up the four agreements, brings it together, but adds another element to it. Be true to yourself, don't take things personally, be impeccable with your words, and always do your best. I believe that's about right. If I'm a little off, my apologies. That book's pretty profound. It is worth putting in your regular library. A regular library is a book that you pick up, flip through, and read from. There is something that I find incredibly familiar with this book, Think Like a Monk. And I'm sitting reflecting on Sunday, Monday about, well, what is so familiar about this? Well, you know, Jennifer Hawkyard, the wonderful artist who's created 2 decks for Kyle Gray, and she created not only my new Soul Path Connection logo, but she also created The Alchemist. There's something about that whole situation. She said she channeled Melchizedek, who was both a priest and a king back when. I think he was the one that offered Solomon or somebody a gift when he came back from war. Somebody went to war. It's a story I'll have to look up. But anyway, many believe that Melchizedek, who was a priest and a king and a leader, was the sort of prototype that God had for Jesus. Apparently, Jennifer was sort of channeling this energy to see who my spirit guide was, and decided that this energy was coming from this master, this ascended master, Melchizedek. So there's something about that. I'm reminded that one time I did a spiritual channeling with somebody, meaning somebody channeled for me, went to one, and I was told that in many lifetimes I have lived as a monastic, as a priest, as a preacher, as part of spreading the word of the universe. And here I find myself somewhat doing it again with tarot, with angels, with these folks who I find fascinating at a time in my life that I didn't know that I would be doing this. So this is where this daily reflection and daily hope and dreams come from, and these daily messages come from. It is my intention to use this platform as much as I possibly can to find these nuggets wherever I possibly can and share these nuggets with you, along with the words that come from spirit, the words that come from my spirit guides, the words that come from my angels, and maybe some of yours will come through. So for today, and I'm going to get to the cards in a minute, I do believe I want to still work with cards. I want you to reflect upon those that you currently have in your life, those that have gone into spirit world because they don't just simply die, get burned and shoved in the ground. There is a spirit that is non-physical and a spirit that is physical. And while these folks are no longer with us physically, can't pick up the phone and chat to them, we can chat to them. And they will chat back. Not in the way that we're used to, but in a way that's a little different. And in saying this, the nugget I have for you for today is look at the people that are currently in your life, look at the people that have left your life, and look at the connection you have with both. The people that are currently in your life, are they serving the purpose that you are intending for them to serve? Good friends, great people, always there, never fray, all of that. The loving, kind people, are they a drain to you? Have you realized, well, my goodness, every time I speak to this person, it's always because they need something, want something. It's not reciprocated. Now, I'm not saying you should dump these people. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying for you to reflect upon the growth that you've got, the journey that you've got, where you are, what you're offering to others and what they're offering to you. And it could be that when you feel yourself somewhat on the back foot with some of these relationships, somewhat being taken for granted, somewhat being used, what have you, there's something within you that you're not giving to yourself. Because if you give yourself peace, love, and your understanding of these other folks, it wouldn't be showing you the problem, if that makes sense. The other thing is to connect with those who've passed and literally have a chat with them. Find a picture of them. Find something they wrote, a card, something that brings you that piece of, oh, I remember Granny, or I remember cousin so-and-so, or I remember this one, or my friend Pat, or my uncle so-and-so who's in spirit. And bring that spirit to you just to say hello. I have two friends that are in spirit. Billy, who is an outrageous, comical, funny hairdresser friend of mine that passed about 11 years ago. And then my lovely friend Denson, who shared my love of dogs and was an incredible, gifted medium, but never practiced professionally, along with Granny and others that are out there on the whim. I've spoken to them while I've been speaking to you sometimes. Anyway, with all that said, this is my little nugget. Peace, love, understanding. Where does it come from? Where can you offer it? And what is it teaching you? And now we will get to today's message of the cards. Let me move that out of the way. My little candle holder that I put the cards on. So, angels of Father in the sky, Mother in the earth, angels, ancestors, thank you for reminding us that you're present. This one flipped over. I like that. And for revealing to us what we need to know. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to receive. I am willing to share. Bring us a card that will bring us a little reflection today of hope. Let's see. There we go. The animal spirit card that flipped over didn't really jump out. And I like this because I will get to the other one. Look at the image. It's the image of the moon, the image of a hawk or an eagle speaking to your soul, being the Native American. Thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path with love. Isn't it interesting that many of us that follow a spiritual path do have the unconditional love of animals? And if you don't have a dog or a cat, just go outside and listen to birds. Yesterday I was conversing with a friend of mine who was quite confused that a bird kept popping in and out of her house. That's quite lovely because they're looking for, it's sometimes a message. I think it's a message from angels, spirit guides, that they're around to keep going. And sometimes it's just simple. It's like, look what you've done with the place, or look what you've done, or you're creating a home, especially if they come into your home, that you're nesting, that things are going great for you. Well, let's see what our card of the day and message of the day is. Oh, loved one in heaven. Well, now look, you see, now these work together. They work well together. The spirit world is always with us. Thank you, loved ones in heaven, for drawing close at this time. And it does go along with this theme of peace, love, understanding, and connecting with those that are no longer with us in physical form, that have left. If you had a conversation with them, and you should, what would that conversation be? What would they say? How would they ask you to move forward with your day? I'm going to look this up because I'm sure the author, this one being Kyle Gray, would have something of significance to say. So first of all, we give thank you. Thank you, loved one in heavens, for drawing close at this time. And my nugget for this, before I read what he's written, is to say, they've come by to remind you that you are important, to remind you that you are loved, to remind you that, you can do great things while you're here. You can make sense of this incredible time that we find ourselves in. You do have the driving seat. You are on the bus of life. You are doing things to move mankind forward. So the general meaning is the angels are bringing through a loved one who is in heaven at this time. They want you to know that their energy and support are always with you. Your loved one in heaven is drawing extremely close and wants to help heal any remaining pain or feeling of separation that is within your heart. So take time to acknowledge and remember them, for this will allow you to feel their love. The expanded interpretation that Kyle says in his guidebook, the energy of loved ones wants to help you move forward in a loving way. If there is someone on the other side whom you miss or have unfinished business with, this is your opportunity to make peace with them. Please know that they're offering their love to help you remove anything that's holding you back, and are asking you not to feel guilty about anything at all. They have found eternal peace in heaven with the family that have gone on before them. There's an awful lot of forgiveness that happens when a spirit leaves and goes. I talked earlier about the dark night of the soul, where, literally the higher spirits of heaven, angels, that beautiful place that we go to when we do leave the physical, that comes and shows, this is where you've been, this is what you're doing, this is what's possible for you. Do you want to cross over? Now, sometimes the crossing over process is instant. Sometimes it is simply that, you've arrived, you did what you needed to do, and now you're done, your purpose is finished. But before that happens, before that instantaneous whoop, they went into spirit, they were, whatever you want to call that, instant, there may or may not have been some sort of jog, some sort of little tiny bits and pieces, a little dip in and out, in and out, and then it's time to go. We never know when that time is. We never know when that comes up. I'm asked all the time by several folks who consult with me about other people, not about themselves. It's interesting. They want to know when this one, that one, or the other one. It's interesting, and I'll finish this up here. It's curious. Folks who look for readings, they want to know when a loved one is going to pass. Is this the end? How much time do they have? And then they immediately will say, but I know you can't tell me. Well, then why are you asking? The other part that I find fascinating is they really aren't interested in knowing when they themselves are going to pass into the spirit world. Some do. And I've only ever had that happen once or twice. And it really wasn't that the individual wanted to know when they would die. They just wanted to seek out whether or not I was a legitimate medium. That's always a challenge, because I, as a spiritual medium, it's happening. Your guides surround you and say, oh, here we go. Here's someone that's looking to shake the tree of knowledge and play games. I don't know, can't remember now exactly how I handled those situations. It's been many years, but they do come up. Anyway, There is no real reason of knowing when you leave the earth. I think that's a combination between who created us and whether or not we're done. And I'm hoping that you and I are never going to be done. We have jobs to do. We have a purpose to do. And you don't need to know exactly what that purpose is and all the details. All you need to know is that you are where you are supposed to be, exactly where you're supposed to be. And that each little piece of the day unfolds. And you can use your new journals, the feelings journals and reflections journals that you do at the end of the day, and then the hopes, dreams and wishes journal that you do at the beginning of the day to set it up. I'd be interested to know how that goes for all of you. Okay, until next time, love the day, love yourself, love your fellow, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.